too late!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 actors who refuse to shoot scenes together.
We have spent so much of our relationship creating all these boundaries, making sure that we don't limit ourselves with responsibility and obligation, and I don't want to live like that anymore, because that's not loving at all.
For this list, we're looking at the most notable co-stars who avoided filming with one another despite being in the same project. Did we miss any scandalous superstar feuds? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Bill Murray and Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels. Ironically, the biggest fight in this action flick happened behind the scenes. Rumor has it that Bill Murray was not impressed with co-star Lucy Liu's acting and made sure she knew it.
This is gonna be long, hard, and rough.
Whether it was supposed to be a joke or not, Liu was not laughing. She retaliated with her fists, and allegedly, the two had to be contained to opposite sides of the room. Judging by the way Liu recounts the events, it doesn't sound like the two have patched things up. In fact, some say that Murray didn't return for the sequel because he refused to work with Liu ever again. Though something tells us that feeling is mutual.
Well, I'm not surprised because I had a real long talk with a squirrel one time. Longer than I can talk to most humans.
Number 19, Leonard Roberts and Ali Larter, Heroes. Evidently, co-stars can be scarier than villains.
I promise you, I won't do anything that I don't want to.
It's not quite right to call this a feud, though, since that implies that there were two opposing sides. Instead, Roberts claimed in a first-person article for Variety that his in-universe wife was incredibly cold and difficult to work with, especially during intimacy scenes. Oddly enough, he points out that Larter apparently had no issue doing similar work with her white co-stars. Later, Roberts was informed that his character would be killed off early in season 2, all to handle the Ali Larter situation.
And let it go. We're leaving, all right?
The actress seemingly was not comfortable sharing scenes with him under any circumstances. The biggest shame is that even though Larter was supposedly the one with the problem, it's Roberts who ended up losing his job. Number 18, Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn, 4 Christmases. Things were decidedly not holly or jolly on the set of this holiday rom-com. While neither have outright confirmed it, numerous reports claim that Vince Vaughn's penchant for improv majorly clashed with Reese Witherspoon's detail-oriented approach.
You really can't spell families without lies.
Inevitably, that bad blood spilled over into the film itself, or rather its production. The only reason there's no sign of their quarrel in the finished product is reportedly because they kept each other at arm's length behind the scenes. Allegedly, Witherspoon even nixed a planned sex scene because she didn't want to get intimate with her co-star. If they can't stomach any romantic scenes together, then odds are they won't be reuniting for a 5th Christmas anytime soon.
All we gotta do is we just gotta get through these 4 Christmases as quickly and as painlessly as possible.
Number 17, Nathan Fillion and Stana Katic, Castle. They may have played one on screen, but off of it, these two were anything but a happy couple. A source close to the production claimed that Fillion and Katic's relationship deteriorated as the series went on, to the point that they completely avoided each other on set.
No, come on. Don't give me that face. Just say we'll meet at the PI office.
We'll meet at the PI office.
Okay.
Considering they played romantic partners, that kind of feud spelled doom for the show's central premise. The tipping point of this rumor came at the end of season 8, when Katic was abruptly fired from Castle. A month later, the series itself got the axe.
I feel like I could sleep for a week.
How about some breakfast first? Best way to start off a hibernation.
There's no way of knowing if Fillion and Katic's rivalry played a part in the show's cancellation, but the timing implies that it certainly did not help. Number 16, Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, Twister, Ride It Out. By some miracle, most of Twister's disastrous production stayed out of the finished film. That even includes its leads, Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, who rose above their rumored spat and completed the movie as planned.
Joe, things go wrong. You can't explain it. You can't predict it.
However, when the two came back to shoot scenes for the theme park ride, it was a different story. Despite the fact that their characters were conversing, Hunt and Paxton never once appeared together in the new footage. That's because, as insiders claim, neither was willing to share the screen with the other.
So if you're up for it, gather up your family and all your belongings.
And join us on the stage and see for yourself just how powerful a Twister can be.
If speaking through monitors was the best Hunt and Paxton could do, it's a good thing they finished Twister when they did. Number 15, Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell, Martin. It may not bear her name, but Gina was just as much a part of this show's success as her husband. So, it raised more than a few eyebrows when she suddenly vanished from several episodes of the 5th season.
Mr. Payne, are you traveling alone? Because we have a great singles luau in the Borneo room.
Oh, no, I got mine. My wife, she's in the gift shop.
At the time, actress Tisha Campbell was actually suing both the production and her co-star for harassment. The case was eventually settled, but that didn't smooth things over between the Martin leads.
I miss everybody. I miss Martin. Oh, I can't wait to see Martin.
I couldn't wait to get away from him.
Later, when Campbell returned for the show's finale, it was under the condition that she not share any scenes with Lawrence. True to her word, the show ends without Gina and Martin so much as acknowledging one another. Number 14, Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Wahlberg, The Basketball Diaries. As the star of this 90s flick, Leonardo DiCaprio seems to have had some serious sway on who filled out the rest of the cast. Though if it were totally up to him, Mark Wahlberg would not have even gotten an audition. Long before The Basketball Diaries came along, the two got off on the wrong foot at, amusingly, a charity basketball game.
It's on today. 50 rebounds.
Apparently, DiCaprio holds a grudge, and he later straight up refused to read with Wahlberg at his audition for the sports film. However, Marky Mark eventually got his foot in the door and even won over DiCaprio too. By the time The Basketball Diaries wrapped, the two were good buds.
Gotta have these heart-to-heart talks more often. They're really good for us.
Number 13, Mark Harmon and Polly Perrette, NCIS. A lot can go wrong in 15 years, especially in show business. For NCIS, that came in the form of a bitter rivalry between co-stars. Supposedly, an incident involving a dog bite stirred up a whole lot of drama between Harmon and Perrette, causing them to start filming on different days of the week.
Everyone has their breaking point, and this was mine.
Given Perrette's character Abby's role in the show, the shift wasn't so noticeable. That is, until her final episode. It's all too obvious that Harmon's Gibbs is the one individual Abby doesn't give an in-person goodbye to.
Hey, Gibbs. You're probably wondering what's with the retro communication. Truth is, I chickened out.
While Perrette claims that Harmon isn't the sole reason she left the show, it's clear that they didn't end things on particularly good terms either. Number 12, Orson Welles and Peter Sellers, Casino Royale. It's never a good thing when a movie is more remembered for its scandals than its quality, but that is certainly the case with this parodical take on Casino Royale. Although, even if the movie wasn't universally panned, the legendary bickering between Welles and Sellers would still probably eclipse it.
What are you going to do?
Physically, I'm not going to do anything.
Oh, you're gonna nothing me to death.
Torture of the mind.
You see, the two thespians didn't just refuse to film together, they avoided even being on set at the same time. In fact, their rivalry went so deep, Sellers allegedly left the production altogether for fear of running into Welles.
I think I better freshen up a bit quick. I'll be back in 5 minutes. If I'm not, start without me.
There are plenty of rumored explanations behind their petty squabble, but either way, there is no salvaging the mess of a film they left behind. Number 11, Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, The Notebook. It's a badge of honor when the leads of a romance movie actually end up dating in real life. While that was the case with Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, it certainly didn't start out that way.
I'm not usually like this, I'm
yes,
sorry.
You are.
That could be fun.
The two apparently had a very fraught time on set, with neither having a particularly high opinion of the other. At one point, Gosling even straight up asked the director if he could do a scene opposite someone else. Luckily, a quick scream session hashed out all of their problems, and the two completed production without another hitch. If anything, their impeccable chemistry throughout the film just proves that they really are great actors.
It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
Number 10, Wesley Snipes and the supporting cast, Blade Trinity. When you've got a successful franchise to your name, it can go to your head.
Do I pass the audition?
Rookies.
For Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes was given support in the form of Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds as Night Stalkers Abigail Whistler and Hannibal King. It would appear, however, that Snipes wasn't too keen on these additions, or for that matter, the script, the director, or the overall story. Horror stories from set abound, but most notable is the fact that Snipes often had his stand-in do everything but the close-ups, leaving the supporting cast to pick up the slack. He also allegedly referred to Reynolds simply as, quote, that cracker. Number 9, Lindsay Lohan and Charlie Sheen, Scary Movie 5.
Let's just make this quick. I have a court hearing in the morning.
Judge Henderson?
Considering the man's well-documented sexual history and self-professed drug use, we can't really blame Lindsay Lohan for not wanting to film a kiss with her co-star Charlie Sheen.
Ow.
Sorry, it's my sobriety monitor. Ow!
Sorry. Ankle tracking bracelet.
Apparently, the driving fear that had Lohan nervous about puckering up was cold sores, and even a legal notice from her and Sheen declaring themselves to respectively be cold sore free wasn't enough to put her mind at ease. In the end, the scene was reworked. Considering the wild antics of their in-film sex tape, the kiss wasn't exactly missed. Number 8, Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty, Charmed.
Well, Phoebe, it's sort of hard to give you support when you're just setting yourself up to get hurt again. Cole is good inside, I know it.
They might have played siblings on TV for years, but by the end of the 3rd season, their working relationship had soured. That's when Doherty's Prue Halliwell was killed off to be replaced by a new half-sister, played by Rose McGowan. Doherty had a reputation for being difficult to work with from her time on Beverly Hills 90210, and this reputation seemingly followed her onto the Supernatural series. Reportedly, the two often wouldn't talk unless the cameras were rolling. A mediator was even brought in, but to no avail. It got to the point where one of them had to go.
Blood to blood, I summon thee. Blood to blood, return to me.
Number 7, Emma Watson and Channing Tatum, This Is the End. Emma Watson and Channing Tatum both have relatively small cameo roles in this film, but it seems, however, that we could have gotten more Watson.
Life is like a box of chocolates, no?
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it.
You never know what you're gonna get.
After making a notable in-film exit from the house she was sharing with the film's stars, Watson apparently made another all-too-real departure, this time from the set, when she got a glimpse of the film's climactic scene, which involved Tatum being on a leash in nothing but a thong, dancing.
Channing, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, man?
In the context of the scene, which discussed cannibalism and sexual slavery, it all proved too much for Watson to film as originally intended.
I love him.
Number 6, Juliana Margulies and Archie Punjabi, The Good Wife.
Can you look? No. No? What do you mean no? Well, you represent the plaintiff. You don't work for the firm.
This hit CBS series was blessed with some serious talent. Unfortunately, it seems that their off-camera personalities were no less formidable, and that series lead Juliana Margulies did not play well with Archie Punjabi. The latter's in-house investigator, Kalinda Sharma, was eventually written out of the show in season 6. But even before that, despite Punjabi's prominent role, the two hadn't shared a scene together since the middle of season 4. The specifics remain unclear, but apparently the two actors simply could not work together. Their final scene together was actually filmed separately using a split screen. Yikes.
I wish we had the chance to do it over again.
Number 5, Naya Rivera and Lea Michele, Glee. This long-running hit musical series had its fair share of dramatic storylines, but they usually had a happy ending.
You are short, you are awful, and that is never gonna change.
Unfortunately, it seems that for the drama taking place behind the scenes, no amount of singing could bring about a peaceful resolution between these two young stars.
Guys, we're in a band. We have to practice.
Kurt, I would think that you would understand all of the emotional stress that I'm under right now, and I need you guys to just be a little supportive.
The characters that Naya Rivera and Lea Michele played might have been friends, and the actors might have started off the same, but their relationship soured to the point that they stopped speaking. Eventually, Rivera's character Santana Lopez, despite having gone from supporting cast to series regular, began to get written out of episodes. Number 4, Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, The Fate of the Furious. Did you notice anything strange about the 8th Fast and the Furious movie? Like a lack of interaction between Dwayne Johnson's Luke Hobb and Vin Diesel's Dominic Toretto, perhaps?
A hell of a job, brother. When we get back to the base, the beer's on me.
Considering these two were the top-billed actors and easily the franchise's heaviest hitters, that's a bit of an odd creative choice. But Johnson and Diesel apparently do not work well together. In fact, they've gone on record acknowledging that they can't stand each other.
You good?
I'll see you when it's done.
According to The Rock, they managed to avoid filming so much as a single scene together. And unfortunately, the on-set beef shows in the finished product.
And I want to thank you all for never turning your back on me.
Number 3, Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts, The Pelican Brief. Denzel Washington is a man of principles. When he says he's not willing to shoot a particular scene, he means it.
How do you know how to sister Mary?
You're not the only one that does research.
Despite being an A-lister with countless roles to his name, he has managed to rarely, if ever, kiss a white woman on screen. The reasoning? He's apparently incredibly devoted to his black female fan base, whom he feels are far too rarely represented as the subject of sexual desire. Doing his own small part to combat this injustice of representation, when the script for The Pelican Brief called for him to kiss co-star Julia Roberts, he flat out refused and had the scene cut.
Look at me. I want you to leave.
Number 2, Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn, Game of Thrones.
You can have my room. Oh, there's a clever man.
Considering how many plot lines are playing out simultaneously, and the jaw-dropping number of notable characters who populated the world of George R.R. Martin, chances are you didn't even notice these two never share scenes.
You're just a soldier, aren't you? You take your orders and you carry on. I suppose it makes sense. Your older brother was trained to lead and you were trained to follow.
It could have been a simple coincidence, but in reality, this is an intentional production choice. It seems that the talents behind Queen Cersei and the ambitious sellsword Bronn, Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn, had an off-camera romance years back.
Nothing like a woman after a fight.
According to insiders, it clearly did not end on good terms, as the two apparently are not on speaking terms, and won't even appear in the same room together.
I would never ask it of you. You would never agree to it, and if you did, I would trust you even less than I do now.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte, I Love Trouble.
Bon voyage.
Julia Roberts might have been the one to get turned down while shooting The Pelican Brief, but this time it was her turn to express disinterest in her co-star.
I'm sorry, where'd you say you're from? Bitchville?
While filming this ill-received rom-com, Roberts and Nolte, the romantic leads, seemingly could not stand each other. Roberts famously called Nolte, quote, disgusting, and the worst actor she'd ever worked with.
Look, all I'm trying to say is that if you'd been in town any longer, I'm sure we would have met. And had I seen you, we would have.
Nolte, for his part, said that Roberts was, quote, not a nice person. As a result of their dislike for one another, stand-ins were used as often as possible, with various scenes being filmed separately. Unsurprisingly, the lack of chemistry translated to the big screen.
Was I hearing things, or did you call me a second-rate novelist?
I was kidding. I never even read your book. I'm sure it's quite brilliant.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.